Building a competitive Vanguard premium deck can feel overwhelming and incredibly complex. With thousands of unique cards released since Vanguard's inception, there's always room to learn and grow as a player. To simplify this challenge, though, I'm starting with just one premium deck set and my knowledge of Standard. My goal? To rise to the top and truly understand what it takes to succeed in Vanguard's eternal format. This isn't just nostalgia, it's climbing the competitive ladder. Welcome to the Premium Vanguard Project. A typical day for me when I was younger included games, specifically sports and TCGs. The thrill and excitement of taking a field representing a team, or the skill and luck involved keeping up with meta trends, both sports and trading card games had a way of keeping me constantly invested. On top of playing TCGs, I also watch card game anime religiously, and this is when I discovered CARDFIGHT Vanguard and my favorite character in it, Ren Suzugamori. And I thought he had so much aura with his Shadow Paladin deck, so naturally, I wanted to build it in real life. And this is when a young winning image learned about TCG Player. However, I could not afford this deck with my allowance money because it was too expensive. So I ended up building other decks as I got more invested into CARDFIGHT Vanguard, such as Blau and Sanctuary Guard. And as I went to build these decks, I discovered Vanguard on YouTube. This is when my friend Jonathan gifted me a YouTube channel to help me share my opinions of the game. And growing up, I wanted to be like the titans of the scene. Domino Paris 21, I Am Vanguard, Cardotaku Desu. All these people built a fantastic community around them through the game of CARDFIGHT Vanguard. And it is that goal and dream of mine that has kept me invested in this niche for over 10 years now with 2 different channels. Yet, you never know where life is going to take you. And once I had a job and entered college, I had to focus on my sport and other priorities. Lacrosse is part of me, and I didn't just represent my university, but also my home country, the Philippines. And I've played tournaments all over the country with opponents from all over the world. I even got to share my story of how I became part of Philippines lacrosse on a podcast called Bold, and how my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ impacted me in my journey through sport. God, if you're gonna test me physically, mentally, emotionally like you did my last year playing lacrosse, bring it on. My life was sports for a while. I worked for an NCAA program for 3 years, as well as opened a non-profit sports academy in honor of my brother who passed away. I also volunteer weekly for the Miracle League, an organization that helps adaptive student athletes play the sport of baseball. But with more than meets the eye to CARDFIGHT Vanguard, I really had to pick and choose what I focused on. That is until now, where as an adult, I finally learned to have balance in my life. And in perfect timing, Bushiroad released 3 deck sets, and one of which helped Winning Image finally own the deck that he always wanted. In another format though, one that includes every single card since Vanguard's inception. It's time to learn Premium because this time I have a great starting point as a returning player to Vanguard and a newish player to Premium. To no one's surprise, the deck set we chose is...
Raging Form. I have no idea what's in here. We're gonna find out together. So let's open it and take a look. We got our Ren key. Let's pop the top and open this bad boy up. Oops. So you obviously get the storage box, and then you have the deck, which we'll take a look at, and the deck box, which is actually very cool. I guess we're going to use this for our Raging Form deck. But what we're really here for is the deck. Featuring Raging Form Dragon. Now this is the OG effect from the original Limit Break era. So you're going to be seeing the Limit Break effect being used in all of its glory. At the end of battle that attack, retire 3 rearguards with Revenger's names. Choose up to 1 Raging Form Dragon from your hand. Write it as stand, and choose one of your Vanguards to get plus 10k. And then it has Lord, which is honestly insane. I honestly forgot this card, that effect existed. Man, what a throwback. Then you get Revenger, Raging Fall Dragon Reverse. I guess a little good finisher. Drag Ruler. I don't think this card's played in the final build because we want to focus on Raging Form, so not really focused on that. And I heard this card right here makes the deck. Slay Hex Dragon. When this unit is placed by writing from a unit with Revenger in its card name, counterblast 1, discard 1. Search your deck for up to 1 Raging Form Dragon. This is obviously a Raging Form Dragon deck, and write it as stand. So I guess that helps fix the ride consistency since you need the Raging Form Heart for a lot of the plays. It's pretty good actually, so definitely want to max this out in the future if I can. It's hard to, whatever. Dark Blessed Angel. So when it's retired from rearguard by your unit's ability, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Revenger in its name, counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 card with Revenger in its card name. Call to rearguard, shuffle your deck, and at the end of the turn, retire that unit. So notice how Raging Form retires rearguards. If you have 2, if you're stuck on it, you could use it twice if you have one of these on the field from all the combos that I saw online. It's actually really cool. I feel like this card makes the deck. Then another card that makes the deck that I feel like we want to max out on is Willy Revenger Mana. It's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard if you have a Shadow Paladin Vanguard. Very cool. Shadow Paladin deck. No Keter Sanctuary in this deck, I think. Search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 or less card with Revenger's name. Call it to Rearguard in the same column as this unit, so helping you fill it out. And I think you mainly want to call this guy right here. So when the attack hits or the boosted attack hits, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Search your deck for up to 1 card with Revenger. You'll put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Note it doesn't shuffle. Then I heard this card's pretty good too. I guess we'll find out together. When your grade 3 unit with Revenger's card name is placed by writing from a grade 2, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 Revenger. Its card name calls to rearguard as rest, shuffle your deck. So I guess it's just more retire fodder. Deflecting Revenger Alfie, Crisis Revenger Fritz, Keter OT, give rearguard drive checks. I feel like this card's pretty weak, not gonna lie. Because you're always retiring stuff, so it doesn't seem like it has synergy at all. Or this crit, when your Vanguard attack, put it in soul, draw a card, choose when your Vanguard gets plus 10k. Always get some big power plays, I guess. 4 Stride crits, 3 Maclear, because it comes with another Sentinel. 4 Heal Guardians. I feel like these are nuts. Like, with History Collection, once it came out, everybody was striding at grade 2. You could just throw one of these down, make your Vanguard like 20 bajillion k. So they have a hard time hitting. Elementaria. And then I guess the rest are strides. And Harmonious Messiah, I think you just reveal it and yeah, you just reveal it. I don't think the locked thing comes up as much. I've never actually read this card before. And then 3 of this card right here, the Errata Raging Rat. The text is like kind of taking over the whole card. Looks kind of funny. So if your Vanguard is a grade 3 Revenger Raging Form Dragon with the Limit Break 4 ability, so you only could be on the OG Raging Form, you could stride it, and then Limit Break 4 at the end of battle that attack. If you have a hard card with Raging in its name, counter +1, soul +1, retire 2 rearguards. Discard 2 grade 3 Abyss Dragon from your hand, put it into the G zone, and then stride another one. So it's pretty insane. Just another Vanguard swing. GB8. I've never actually owned any Shadow Paladin deck other than a trial deck, so I'm actually really excited to play this. Then we have this Restander. I guess it's okay. Chain Rancor. This card's insane from what I know. So you basically copy the ability of your heart card. And then, but the main effect is GB3 if you have 3 or more grade 1 or less units. So essentially you have a full back row. When your opponent would call cards from his or her hand, they have to call 3 at the same time. So it's pretty nuts. Like, I think minimum 9 cards to guard if they have 5 damage. Or G Guardians, Drag Ruler, Morfessa. This is always like, I think the follow-up from the research I was doing. Counterblast 1, retire 2 rearguards. And choose a card. G enter and face up, draw 2 cards. All of your trigger units are treated as grade 1, Ritual 10. So that Ritual is essentially how many grade 1s you have in your drop zone. So it counts the triggers with its ability. All your front row rearguards get plus 15 and 1 crit. And then when your opponent would call cards from your hand, they must call 2 or more at the same time. Really good. G guards, there's some good ones. The main ones that I would like to note is this one right here. When it's put on Garden Circle, choose 5 grade 1 cards from your drop, put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. It gets plus 5k shield until the end of battle for each card put, and if you put 5 cards, choose one of your units, it can't be hit until the end of the battle. So depending on the number of grade 1s you send back, it could turn itself into a perfect guard. So it's essentially like playing an extra PG in the deck, which I think is pretty nuts. And it gets around Sentinel restrict from hand. And it's on a Sentinel, so you can just play it. Quick Shield, standard. Guardian Shield that you get off Messiah. Force 1s. Raging Wrap Force 2s. And then the Crest. This card makes everything go. If your heart is Revenger Raging Form Dragon with the Limit Break 4 ability, and you'd pay the cost for your Limit Break 4 of the Stride, it could be paid with retire 3 rearguards with Revenger in its card name, so without the discard, I guess. And then all the original power becomes 13,000, so helping you hit numbers in this format. And then Limit Break 4 will activate with 4 damage or less. So this card essentially makes this deck. You could essentially get off your Limit Break when your opponent's at grade 2. And just stride right away, so it's pretty good. And then you get hollows, you get 1 hollow stride, and then a force 1 and a force 2. So that's essentially the deck that we're going to start this series with. Let's sleeve it up. I'm gonna put the Vanguard if sleeves on the G zone and then white Katana sleeves for the main deck, and then we'll see what this deck could do. Let's card fight.
Now you're gonna try it again.
What's up, guys? It's me from the future, and I'm here to break down this game for you as we start the Premium Vanguard Project series. We are up against James, who is a veteran of CARDFIGHT Vanguard and a good friend of mine, and it's just been a really good friend that helps me get into the format. So, we start out the game going first. Now, you want to go first with this deck because you want to be able to high roll your opponent with your first stride ability, and we get that going with riding Rakia. Now, although we take 1 damage, we hit a draw trigger just like he did to help generate cards that way, and on his turn, he actually checks the over trigger, and this is where I think I misplayed because I was trying to guard it. I should have used the -2 crit on my Heal Guardian versus the plus 10k to my Vanguard, but we live and learn. Then we're able to ride our grade 3 Raging Form and just kind of go to town on him. The Dark Bless Angel allows us to get off 3 Vanguard attacks in 1 turn and just push him to a high damage count early. And that's one of the things that makes this deck so powerful, just because of its ability to kind of push damage early, especially when your opponent's at grade 2, making it so that if you go first and with a bit of trigger luck, you kind of win. But James is able to guard effectively because of the Heal Guard for Royal Paladin, subtracting 2 criticals. And although we hit 1 critical on our first drive check, we needed another one to actually hit the Vanguard, and we didn't hit it. Then on his turn, he actually rides the OG Altmile and goes into Blade, which is the History Collection stride, allowing him to generate 2 Force Markers. And from there, he kind of just wombo combos, leaving us with nothing on our field. So instead of going into Chain Rancor like most things, I actually went into the Restander Crow just because you could get its effect off, retiring 2 rear guards, and if your opponent can't retire 3, you could restand after it attacks, just to put pressure on. And then from there, we just kind of make a field and try and push damage that way. Although we had a critical trigger on our drive check, I actually give it to my rear guard Tartu just because we had a second triple drive coming. And since he was at 3 damage, I kind of wanted to make my triple drive a little more threatening for him. And actually we're able to call a booster with the Dark Bless Angel that was retired from the skill, making it so we could actually hit 50k on our Vanguard attack. But he's able to guard it with a G Guardian and actually put himself in a simple and effective situation to try and get himself to his turn. And then on his turn, he actually rides Raziel. Now, what a cool tech to have in the Royal Paladin Premium deck to send back triggers and get himself on a 13k base. And then from there, he actually just goes into Crystal Luster, and with its ability to actually force you to guard with 3 cards, I tried my best to survive, but because his rear guards gain criticals with Ashley's ability, it was a little bit hard to stop. And then his drive check didn't help me either, which is kind of funny. So continues the streak of me losing on this channel. Will I ever even win a game that I record on this channel? But all in all, it was a great first game, and I actually got to learn a lot how the deck plays, specifically how to go first. I never actually played a match with this deck until I actually played against James, so I was able to see kind of how the deck functions and how the different cards interact. Outside of YouTube videos, that was the only kind of testing that I got, so it was great to actually get a starting point, and thank you to James for the match. Man, wasn't that a match? I really just want to take a second to say thank you to you, the viewer, for still watching. I was editing this video and then I posted the little teaser clip, and y'all's response was so heartwarming. As somebody who stepped away from the game and somebody who got back in, it just means a lot that y'all stuck around. Meeting some of you in person at BCS Houston, oh my gosh, that warmed my heart. Just talking to some of y'all and that y'all remember me, it really just meant the world to me. And, I don't know where this series is going. I don't know how this video is going to be received. But I want you guys to know that, this is, one of my favorite works I've ever done for this channel. Just because I feel like I try to tell as authentic story as I could. And also make it seem like my Vanguard experience is more like y'all's Vanguard experience too. And we just might have more in common than you think. So yeah, I also want to say thank you to Commander Jaime and Domino Paris 21 and I Am Vanguard. They actually all reached out to me at different points to see how I was doing and my progress with the game and just keeping me invested and sparked. And I was just so fulfilled picking up this deck and just appreciating sitting down and playing this game. Lastly, thank you to James. We've been friends for almost 10 years now, and it's really built up to not just its video, but also different life moments for me. He met me when I was 14 and I'm now 24. Yeah, that's a long time. And, we just kind of grew up together. And, you can't put a price on that. With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. and let's build this winning image together. Like, Raging Form is a great deck, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.